Good evening and welcome to the Cover One Buffalo podcast. I am your host, Greg Tompsett. I am joined by my co-host and partner in crime, Aaron Quinn. Aaron, how are you doing?
I'm rethinking hobbies in ways that I spend my time. It's 11:30 on a Thursday night. I got to get kids to school in the morning. I'm kind of sick. My wife's sick. Everybody's sick in my house. I just had to watch that, and now we got to talk about it. I don't know, man. I like our sponsors and stuff, but I don't know if I get paid enough to be up here right now. Greg, I love you, man, but
I am certain I am not paid enough to talk right now. So we have a new contest this week. Normally, amazing, fantastic producer Colin Ritchie comes up and reads the best questions or
super chats
always super chats. Super chats do always get read. We will read the super chats. But tonight, the most unhinged, just complete falling apart, crash out posts of what you're sick and tired of and done with. Colin is going to star and read those for us. If you've ever seen the video of Michael Shannon reading the sorority letter email that went out, or now I think it's the British actor reading Amazon reviews.
Yeah.
It'll be like that. Colin will read your most unhinged deepest, darkest fears and thoughts.
What's that guy? There's a guy on Instagram that people pay to deliver bad news.
Mm-hmm.
He calls people to deliver bad news. That's Colin.
Can we call him and send him to One Bills Drive?
Yeah.
Can I rattle off the things I would like to be said
complaints
to this coaching staff in front office? Man. Can I do that? That's it, guys. The super chats tonight are going to go into a fund to pay that guy to go to One Bills Drive to tell him all the
John
things.
John delivers bad news or something.
That we are.
Know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll find whoever that gentleman is.
Anyways, let's have fun tonight. I'm fine with having fun.
Sure, everything's great. This is fine.
Yeah,
all is well.
Yeah, let's try to make it therapeutic, I suppose.
Sure. Yeah, love you guys. Can't deal with this crap tonight. This team is wasting Allen's talent, cannot stay healthy, and refuses to play smartly. I'll listen tomorrow, but keep up the great work. That was an OPI. I appreciate it. One, Josh deserves plenty of blame tonight, too. He had his moments, but in fairness, when you've been sacked 8 times, I guess I can't fault you too much for scrambling around and bailing and running around like a chicken with your head cut off because you got sacked 8 times. So tonight, Aaron, my heart hurt because all the things that I've grown to love and appreciate hurt me. I watched Taryn get old. He did have a nice tackle at the end, but it was a real rough Taryn game. I watched a weird husk of what's clearly not 100% Khalil Shakir stumble through a game, and then he made an awesome play late. So both of them had some redeeming moments. I actually
thought, Khalil Shakir
gutting through, doing what he can. I love Aaron Cromer dearly, and tonight was the worst offensive line performance we've had since he's been here, for sure. And admittedly, against a fantastic, talented defensive front, but good Lord, could we have put up a little more fight? And I did you get injured tonight? I'm not sure.
Honestly,
I may have gotten injured.
My back, readjusting my chair there.
I may have gotten injured. I cannot confirm. I'm going to have to get that checked out tomorrow. Yeah. Everyone got hurt. All the people. I think, Terrell Bernard's elbow went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Literally everyone got checked for concussion. Luckily, a handful of guys came back early. I don't really know whether Hairston was going to be able to come back or not.
Or the locker room's usually not great.
Not great. Not great
typically, but
Spencer Brown was playing one-armed for the second half.
Actually,
thank God they
hurting them playing that way.
Correct.
Probably 3 or 4 of those sacks or pressures and moments.
Yeah. And Will Anderson's a stud and was going to give anyone a hard time anyways, but a healthy Spencer Brown, I would take our chances. I'd at least give us a shot.
I was going to say, our friend from Left Herr, Greg from Left Herr, texted us Spencer Brown almost being too tough, refusing to sit, and you could see him they had a couple shots of him on the sideline before he went back in and had that really bad series where he was just like slouched in his chair, leaning into that arm. Like, this is a big Viking warrior guy who is just a wounded warrior on the sideline. Thursday Night Football is terrible. I'm not going to blame all the injuries on that, but it's not great for teams to travel and play on short weeks like this. And I do think it stressed some guys and probably exerted some injuries, especially when you're playing like an elite defense and you're kind of getting beat and you may be stretching a little bit further than you want to. That Spencer Brown one is one I'm gonna hopefully keep an eye on. We probably won't find out going into this mini bye. I'm guessing all the injury stuff for the most part, unless whatever gets out there. McDermott's gonna kind of keep close to his vest when he meets with the media tomorrow or whatever, and then they're gonna break for a little bit. We probably won't hear from anybody here for a while you're vacationing in Disney, out of the news anyway. So
yeah, no, I am super excited to not be around any of this. I think I just saw someone in the chat ask, is McDermott going to fire Brady during the mini bye? I don't think so, but like I guess I'm not 100% sure.
What I will say is, Josh on the sideline with the "What are we doing?" like clearly lipping "What are we doing?" after a terrible call on I think it was the 4th and short where they got stuffed.
Yeah, the one where we ran zone and then read option into the most athletic defensive line in the NFL. That one.
Yeah.
Is that the combination of plays that Josh was mouthing? What are we doing?
Well, I think to your point, sorry, my nose is running. To your point, for McDermott to get fired, I think Josh has to make that call. I think even for McDermott I'm saying you always say that for McDermott to eventually get fired, right. Josh has to make that call. I think the same is for Brady. Like, Josh has to go in tomorrow morning and be like, or even on the plane and be like, dude, we can't. The problem with that is, like, I think in the past you had the Brady and the wings as like an up and coming guy. There's some.
How about this? I got you. I don't want to find out if Ronald Curry is ready to call plays in the NFL because he's given the job outright and uses up a whole season. I actually think there's strategic benefit of making him the interim guy to find out, like, hey, are you able to do this, or should we just move on and, find somebody outside the organization?
I almost wonder if it's Cromer or
sure.
Like Boris.
You know what? I don't.
Boris has been there with McDermott from the start. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't call
Brady's plays anyway.
Cromer wasn't a good offensive coordinator when he got the chance to do it, but sure, hell if I know.
I don't know.
Oh God, why does everything suck?
It's not great.
And I'll say I just saw someone have a positive post. Said, "Mark my words, we're going 13-4." God bless you, sir. That is fantastic. God bless you. And I will say, even in the moments, I had some kind of pithy, snarky posts a couple times, even after the meet. No, I don't do that. Even after the Buccaneers win, our friend Zach Sheldon was talking about people talking about the Patriots being paper tigers, and I said that, like, yes, the Patriots absolutely are paper tigers and are going to be exposed in the defense. And then I did like the little asterisk thing, walks away, covers his mouth, whispers under his breath, and so are the Buffalo Bills. Like,
isn't everybody right now though? Like,
correct. Yeah, the only thing you have to cling to is the entire AFC is incredibly flawed. There is no dominant team. Everyone has either unproven young quarterback or lack of depth, or have been playing over their heads against, inferior opponents, and that one of those teams has to win 3 or 4 playoff games because it's just the way single elimination playoffs work. Someone has to make that run and is going to go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC. And we are, I think, more flawed than many of the other teams, but also, sure, we could get hot at the right time and accidentally stumble through 4 games. Like, it is theoretically possible. Even as depressing as tonight is, I still genuinely think we're going to make the playoffs. We have now, not officially, but we have now unofficially pissed away the division. We cannot catch New England now with what their schedule is. We would need them to lose to
they gotta stumble all over themselves.
They would have to lose to Miami and New York.
Yeah, it's like the
or
infomercial.
lose to the Giants and the Jets, plus us and Baltimore, and us run the table. All the things.
Yeah.
Because even with the tiebreakers, this is another conference loss, and we already have 2 division losses. So us tying New England 1-1 isn't enough. We will need them to lose to us and lose to Baltimore and lose to the Giants or Jets or Dolphins. So, we have now unofficially pissed away the division.
Yeah, in my brain, I sort of thought they had to kind of stumble anyway. I didn't think the Bills would make this a clean run through the final here. I still think they probably are going to drop one more here along the way. The lucky thing for the Bills, I do think teams like the Ravens, Chiefs are going to also continue to fall off. I think there is going to be a playoff spot there for the Buffalo Bills. And I was kind of thinking that here during this game, like, you know, the conversation of playoff caliber, championship caliber. This is just a playoff caliber football team.
The play clock was even injured
here. Yeah, a comment coming up here. I'm not even gonna try to say that name, but yeah, saying the play clock was even injured. But yeah, as far as the Bills go, honestly, Greg, I don't know. You always say that you're one of the most optimistic people, and I'd like to think I'm fairly optimistic about this team and try to stay level-headed even through some of the rough moments. And I've been a person saying like, hey, I've seen these runs before. I've seen these slumps before. I think this team can go on a run and make something special. Like, I'm the one that's been leading the year you least expect is the year they're going to do it. I'm having a tough time having belief and faith in that idea, specifically, not even just because of the product. I think there's a lot of things about the product they could fix and still go on that special run. I just, the injuries feel so overwhelming to me, and they feel so constant, and it's a revolving door. Like it's not major ones where everybody's going on long-term IRs. It's just these 3 to 4 week nagging and overlapping of guys. And then you're ramping guys back up. And it's just a constant revolving door of guys in the training room, guys rehabbing. That injury list is getting very long. And I don't know that they're going to have the horses. I'm guessing that Bernard injury looked pretty significant, him coming back in a sling right away. You're just starting to lose enough guys for enough period of time and getting guys back slowly, man, where I just don't think you're going to line it up to make that special run they need to.
Yeah, I think, you know, again, one of my greatest skills is finding the silver lining or finding like the piece of optimism that you can cling to. The hard part of that is that's from the analytical part of my brain that's able to grasp at those things, to be able to say, yeah, but what about this? Hey, think about this. Hey, don't forget about that. And it's not quite as bad as this. The hard part is that part of my brain is the part telling me, yeah, it's not going to matter. Like, yes, we have Josh Allen. With Josh Allen, all things are possible. But being in that scenario with the injuries, with the whatever the disjointed offense is, where we can't get on the same page from a play calling standpoint, or the lack of, you know, necessary skill set in the receivers, or tonight, again, things that have been a strength, like the offensive line now looking flawed against excellent defensive line. I don't, an already hopefully average defense coming into the season has lost its, Ed Oliver's the best player on the defense. You lose a guy like that. You now lose a captain in Terrell Bernard for some period of time. And Michael Hoyt, who looked like he was going to be a real spark plug to this team. With everyone healthy, we probably could have been, hey, maybe we'll end up being an above average defense. It wasn't going to be dominant, but it was, hey, we could be the kind of defense you need with the Josh Allen led offense that scores a bunch of points and a front running defense where if we're ahead, we could pin our ears back and have a rotation of defensive linemen and have impactful guys coming together to collaborate for those kind of things. And now we've just chipped away at so many pieces of that it's hard to cling to or find those silver linings to look for, those explanations, or those, just pieces of ammo to argue, hey, here, it's okay, guys. This is okay. We're going to be able to pull this together. Here's the things we can lean on. There's not a ton of arrows left in the quiver to fight that fight.
Yeah, I think they're running out of options. I think you could have pieced something together, and I think there was parts and pieces trending the right way. And then just tonight, I feel so defeated by the way the injuries are stacking up. It's just making me hard to convince myself that the way this season has gone, like I said, both from a play calling, the way this team has shown up to games, but really from this injury constant revolving door standpoint, it really feels like it's going to be tough for them to line up anything real special beyond what they're doing here. But hey, you just punch the ticket, you get a chance. We'll see.
Yeah.
Josh Allen stays healthy. I had that moment in this game, dude, where my kids looked at me because they were still up when Josh was down and everybody like went to a knee. Where after it, I was like, I always accuse people of taking this too seriously. My kids were like, "Are you okay, Dad?" Like I got up and was just like, I think my face just went white. So as long as he stays healthy though, and you punch a ticket, we'll be all right. But I don't even know if he's healthy. It's hard to tell with him.
He's not healthy. We don't know if he's injured. He's for sure not healthy. Right. He's not happy right now. He just got
hit 13 times today.
8 times and how many hit 12 more times. 20. Yeah. 20 hits on our quarterback. I'll give you $1 if you can guess how many total times we sacked and hit Davis Mills.
Not a lot. It wasn't noticeable, the difference.
0 sacks, 4 quarterback hits. We touched Davis Mills 4 times in a football game. Their offensive line's not good. How in the world do you have a differential of 20-4 and a sack differential of 8-0? I get it, like the missed extra point. I know there was a lot of frustration-worthy penalty calls and decisions. I don't think this is the greatest refereed game, but I got frustrated with people in the Discord channel like, hey, the refs aren't why we're losing this game. Sure, they haven't been great. There's been some rough calls. They ain't why we're losing.
No.
Hell, we've just rambled and vented and talked for 17 minutes so far. We even talked about how horrible the defense was. We let Davis Mills look great against us. Davis Mills. We let Woody Marks run like Jerome Bettis against us. Like just guys on their butts grasping up at him as he runs over top of them for 4th and 2 and 3rd and 2 conversions. And
I mean I think they made Davis Mills looked what he was 150 yards for the day. He had the 2 touchdowns were nice, where that was probably the biggest difference was they beat the Bills in the red zone and they've been terrible in the red zone.
I mean, if we're being honest, Davis Mills being really bad saved us from losing worse because there were a couple wide open guys.
Yeah,
he just completely biffed the throw.
Again, I do think pressure got on a couple of those ones.
Maybe a few.
Yeah, that second quarter was rough for the Bills defense for sure. I think they clamped up in the second half and gave the offense a bunch of chances to get back into this game. The offense also did put them in some bad spots. The team dealt with some terrible field position both ways all game. Even the offense, I have almost probably 40% of the drives feel like I started with saying pinned in their own territory, where Houston was starting with great field position here in this game. Again, that seems to be
Townsend had a ridiculous game. Their punter had a freaking
that one where he
game.
just spun it at the goal line, and
that's a 57-yard punt that he took a left turn at Albuquerque to just curl it back in for a 57-yard punt. That's sick.
I'm trying to rack my brain on some of these field position swaps because sometimes they come after a pretty decent stop, but the defense maybe gave up a first down or something, but the punter
gave up a chunk play and then stop.
Yeah. And then
a couple of our best defensive stops were on the short fields where they held the field goals, where they had 2 3-and-out field goals where they were just given the ball in scoring position, and they actually came up pretty big to keep the game in contention.
That's the frustrating thing about this defense is between the 20s, it's just gushing yards. And then the offense gives up the ball in scoring position and they lock down for like a 3-and-out field goal. And it's like they get you just enough. I mean, I know this Houston Texans defense is really good and their offense isn't super good, but I feel like in 2025, if you can hold a team to under 24 points, like they had a chance. You did have a chance, right? So I want to say you should have a chance to win a game. They did have that chance. They didn't get it done.
Yeah, correct. I mean, this game ended, in their territory. Like we got the ball with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left, all 3 timeouts, down by 4. This is super similar to like the AFC Championship situation. Like, hey, I don't know if we deserve to win this game, but we got the ball, and if a touchdown wins it, go down and score a touchdown, win the game. Like you got the chance, and we obviously took some insanely bad sacks in that drive. Now, again, bad sacks occurred. I don't put all the sacks on Josh. There's a couple where he needed to throw the ball away, but the offensive line got their butt whooped today, so there's lots of blame to go around there. That insane hook and ladder on the 4th and 27.
I thought we were winning after that.
It's a real shame that play is not going to live on in like Bill's Mafia lore, because we lost the game. Like if we had won this game, we would be talking about that play forever. And now it'll maybe get brought back up, here and there.
Colin will bring it to us as a trivia.
Colin will stump us on that play on trivia here in future years. He'll stump us on. Do you guys remember the hook and ladder play? But yeah, I mean, we had the ball at the Houston 17. Like we had the ball at the Houston 17 with multiple timeouts and 30 seconds left, like ready to go, ready to win the game. And
we'll focus on that, but there's so much.
We did not deserve. We did not deserve to be in that position to do those things. So the West Herr drive of the game,
first drive,
is going to be me driving through these super chats. And Yellow Winged Viero reminds us that the Patriots can now clinch the division in Week 15. That's fun. That's new information. That's fun to see. Mm-hmm. Myron Johnson, that freaking extra point killed us. It didn't help having the option to be able to kick, but we didn't. That was we couldn't have kicked it on the desperation 4th and 27. Yeah. I guess technically after Dawkins' false start. How about this? I'll ask you. So we're at 4th and 1, 24 seconds left, 1 timeout left. Dion false starts. It's now 4th and 6 at the 22. 24 seconds left. You probably have to kick there, right? Like if we make the extra point, we're down by 3. 4th and 6 with 24 seconds left. 22 means a 40-yard field goal, 39, 40, like an automatic field goal. The 39, 40-yarder, you have to assume that he's going to make that. That's not him making or missing is not part of the equation. You have to kick it to tie the game, right?
Yeah, I think you have. Well, I don't know.
I'd be okay going for it on 4th and 6, but 4th and 6 is just long enough where I think you have to kick the field goal.
I'd like to feel more confident, and I'd like to feel confident to the cocky point where I'd be like, no, I want the ball in Josh Allen's hands to win the game. And I'm not there.
Against that defensive line tonight.
Problem. That's a problem. I just had a self-realization that in itself is a problem, that I don't feel good. I want to kick the ball. That's not good. Yeah. So
Caleb Morris here saying lots of issues. Injuries might be too much to overcome this year. Josh isn't seeing the field. Defense is cooked. Glad to trauma bond with you all. Trauma bond is really good. I like it. Trauma bond is a really nice term there. We're gonna adopt that one. Good. Nice work, Caleb. We'll use trauma bond. Ginger Elvis is a great screen name. That Ginger Elvis is great. Bean mocking the WGR guys over their wide receiver takes is mostly why I want him gone. No hate to Shakir, but he cannot be our top guy. So why is he? I will say, for something that was I think, lauded pretty strongly. And at the time, lots of people like explaining the context or even rolling their eyes at the wide receiver train shtick or things like that. That has aged incredibly poorly for Brandon Beane. It wasn't great in the moment because you never want to punch down like that and let people whose job it is to elicit a reaction from people get a professional so riled up that you go on the show and, like, you know, whether you think he embarrassed himself or just went overboard or just like, hey, you shouldn't get that emotional in a radio interview. Even all that aside, even if you didn't think it was necessary and were defending Beane at the moment, nobody was like, oh yeah, way to go, you put them in their place. And now to have it turn out that, like, oh, the things they were questioning pretty directly look like a concern that we're now desperately needing Gabe Davis mid-season and hoping Terrell Shavers is some practice squad miraculous development and sitting your top wide receiver investment because he doesn't have the professionalism to contribute to the team. And yeah, I think all of us think Khalil Shakir should be a good passing offense's really impressive second option. Like, that would be the best case scenario. You want a guy where you have your, again, we might not ever get a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, but like a really strong, like a Nico Collins. Like, ideally, you want that number one guy where then Shakir is just like a super, really good 1B second option. And you desperately need him to be our number one.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now it's tough because Kincaid's out, and I think the ideal thing and what I convinced myself of this offense was if you have Kincaid, Shakir, Cook, that's really tough to stop. And then, you know, if one of those things isn't going, you have the other thing to lean into. Him being out definitely hurts. I still don't, I'm really struggling with internally my what my view of Khalil Shakir is. Maybe has to come down a little bit, but I still don't think they're using him in ways. I saw him open a couple of times. Prime vision is a real benefit to watching the game. Some of this stuff too, I would say the Bills receivers definitely struggled to get separation. We knew that about this team. I don't think Jeremy and Joe were on any like insight to that. I think everybody knew that. But I do think that they have some wide receivers that can win. And I do think that there's plenty of opportunities out there that Josh Allen just isn't giving guys to make plays that other quarterbacks do give players to make plays. Like sometimes separation just isn't there in the NFL, and you have to give a guy a chance to make a play on the ball. I'm not saying that throw into double coverage, which Josh is also doing plenty of at times. So it's just kind of a bit of an erratic right now where there was one on the seam today where I saw Shakir kind of go up the seam on just kind of a go route and from the slot position, and it looked like from the prime vision that Josh had a window, and Josh kind of just passed him up and went elsewhere with the ball. I think it resulted in incompletion, but I don't know. I see plenty there when I'm watching the tape, and Josh, I don't want to blame it all on Josh, man, but he's missing some of that, the opportunity that is there. Would that be easier when you had Diggs, when you have that alpha guy that is drawing the coverage? Yes. I do think Kincaid was starting to do some of that from defenses. It's drawing some of that coverage. You definitely see that they're pinpointing Shakir in that screen game and trying to suck that out of this offense, which has become incredibly predictable and trying to manufacture the ways to get him the ball there. So I think right now they just are struggling to find ways to manufacture some of these touches. I think in this game too, I don't know if we're going to do a drive-by-drive here, but there was a section here in this second quarter, Greg, where I don't think James Cook touched. I think he might have had like one or touch or something in the second quarter before he didn't touch the ball again until like the end of the half, maybe. Like there was a huge stretch. Ty played fine, but where James Cook, who was the best player of the game up to that point, just kind of came out. And I know he went into the 10 at one point. I don't know what his injury was, but man.
Yeah, there was no, I do not plan on going drive by drive to resubject myself to that.
No.
He had a bunch of the initial touches on the first drive of the second quarter.
Yeah.
It was Cook for one, where Allen had come out and then comes back in the game. That was the part where we weren't sure what was going on. He hit Gabe. Cook for 6, past Jackson Hawes for the first down. Cook hit a 13-yarder to the outside, was looking really good. And then I don't know if he came back in, but then after that, we got interception on the first play, kick return, touchdown, and then we got the ball back with 5 seconds left. So like there wasn't, I don't know if he would have. There was like a
there was one drive in between.
There was definitely a stretch there where he was off the field for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9. It was the last 9 plays of that drive. So like a weird stretch for Cook.
Yeah.
And then it was just the oddity of like interception on the first play and then the kick return. And
just the timing of it. Yeah, it felt like it was like, man, he's the most dynamic player in the game today. And I think even when they went back to him late, he showed there's probably a stretch where he should just be getting the ball in those moments when Josh just is looking frantic and taking sacks like he was. But
so
any more super chats or
there are a couple. I'll get to those in just a second. The wonderful folks at West Herr deserved for the last game of the last drive of the game to be the West Herr drive of the game, because that 4th and 27, hook and ladder would have been just an all-time great, and coming down, winning to get, stealing a game from the clutches of defeat. We did not deserve to win that game, but we had a chance to win it and take it and sneak away into the mini bye, just being like, oh my God, I can't believe we got away with that one. But unfortunately, West Herr did not get what they rightfully deserve. So make sure you check out all of them for your automotive needs. Biggest auto dealership in New York State, one of the biggest employers in Western New York. Wonderful people to deal with. We appreciate everything they have. I'm going to pivot over immediately to what's brewing, because the super chats and the rest of the comments make me want to drink. So I figured that's just a good way to switch right over to Southern Tier Brewing Company. 4th and 1, needed that field goal. Bad coaching. Game was too close. I don't hate the decision of 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 to go for it. I hate the play calls that those 2 plays ended the drive in, but I don't hate, at that moment, we're down by a touchdown. I don't hate the idea that, like, hey, you're at the 23. Let's try to get the touchdown to tie the game.
Yeah, you're against the best defense in the league. You might not get back here.
And it wasn't, it's not like going for it on like 4th and 5, 4th and 6. Like, I know they're a really good defense. You should be able to convert from 4th and 1. Like, you should have a way to do that. Sure, in hindsight, yes, I wish we had made the extra point and taken the points there and had the option. Hell, the game would have been tied with those 2 kicks. But there were plenty of things I questioned. A lot of play calls, a crazy lack of blitzing, and inexperienced bad quarterback. I'm so mad we didn't send way more blitzes at Davis Mills.
As he got going towards the end there, you could tell they were ramping up pressure towards the end. And
can't believe we waited that long to do so. So lots of things. The coaching wasn't great tonight, but that wasn't one that was on my radar of being frustrated.
Yeah.
Len here says he can't do it anymore. Awful and untalented.
Is he talking about us or? Fair. It could be fair.
Could be. MV Mason here. 8 sacks and you don't call a designed run play. Shaking my head. Why wasn't Cook on the field for the last drive? This one hurts. There is a weird piece of like, why don't we? So one, Cook was, because he got the first pass was a really nice quick pass to Cook and then a run to him. So he was on the field on the last drive. There is a weird thing where, like, I get it. Ty Johnson is kind of your designated 2-minute drill, passing, 3rd and long passing running back, but Cook's a good enough receiver that I think that needs to be more in play for his skill set. And I think he's improved enough on the pass blocking that, I'd like to see them work him in a little bit more in those spots.
Yeah, I mean, I want him to get the ball in situations like this as much as possible. Like I said, I think he was the best offensive player on the field today, and so you got to find ways when you need points to get him touches. So I don't care. You got to kind of throw that stuff out the window and adjust to the game.
Padden here made me laugh. No one will convince me that it wasn't Keon with the 200 IQ move of hacking the play clock. The 2025 Bills are what I expected the 2024 Bills to be. Yeah,
Yeah,
last year was
sort of.
supposed to be kind of our reset year, but we had awesome health and we stayed healthy. Like health is so big in the NFL. So all of these things in the frustration, like health is an enormous factor of what a team's performance is. And when you don't have the players they intended to be on the field, it is really difficult to achieve what you planned on.
Health and luck in one score games
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
like, I think both teams.
Chiefs are learning that.
Yeah, I think both teams didn't play a clean game. Chiefs are learning that. I think the Bills have struggled in some games and beat themselves at times here this year. So yeah, I think that it's still a one score league. But yeah, between injury luck and the way that ball bounces some weeks makes all the difference between how teams are. Like I don't think Denver Broncos are a better team than some of these teams that are struggling and not getting the wins that you would think they deserve. But you get a first place schedule, some bad injury luck, and the ball doesn't bounce your way a few times, and you're sitting here at the 5 seed, kind of figuring out how to not drop more games.
Karen's here made me laugh. I injured my throat screaming at the TV. I injured my foot when I kicked the TV. That checks out.
Yeah.
I had a couple people with this one, and again, I think it's some hindsight with the receiver injuries and the issues, but maybe you should save punishment or benching your perfectly healthy player till after you get the division back. Sadly, I don't think Keon has given them that, reason or opportunity to do so.
Yeah, I think there's a clip of Shannon Sharp and Ocho's podcast talking about this and talking about Keon and saying, like, a team's tolerance, like your production has to be over their tolerance for your bullshit,
Yeah.
essentially, and his isn't lined up right there. And so I don't think the team right now considers a
Look at
healthy
late
Keon Coleman.
stage.
It's addition by subtraction. By
Late
not having
career
him.
Antonio Brown, late career Le'Veon Bell, like everybody, all the crazy hot scale people saw, like
Yeah,
at some point it goes too far the other direction, and if
it's
you're
not
no
worth it.
longer productive, you're not worth it. He hasn't been productive at all to be worth it. So yeah, I joked before, like AJ Brown and Tyreek Hill get to loaf on the field and get to throw tantrums because when they produce, it's exceptional, high end, all pro production.
Yeah.
You haven't earned that. You don't get to do that.
Correct. Yeah. And I mean, maybe he makes a difference. Maybe that lights a fire underneath him. It did not seem from the videos that came out last week that he understood the message. I'm no like therapist. I'm not going to psychoanalyze him, but I don't know. He didn't get his spot back. We'll just say that. So
Yeah. And he seemed to be having a good
Yeah.
time, honestly. Patton here with another one that sadly it's where I was a couple weeks ago and haven't shifted a lot. This is the first game that part of me legitimately ready to move on from McDermott. Feels weird to say because I also think I shouldn't overreact to a weird Thursday night game after a short week. It's more I'm still in the space of he is a good coach. He's going to go on somewhere else and be successful and help another team build a strong foundation and a winning culture. I've just accepted the fact that I don't think he's going to be the guy that's going to get us to where we need to get to. It's not because he's terrible. It's not because he's bad. I've now just kind of accepted that, all right, I don't think he's nearly as bad as all these people keep, going crazy about. I don't think he's some disaster. I think he's a good coach. I just sometimes 9 years is a long time. Sometimes even a good message gets stale.
Sure. I'm not sure what to make of this year. I'm not opposed to those ideas. I don't think it's going to happen.
I agree. I don't think it will either.
I saw the way Terry was looking at he and Brandon Bean giving them the 100th win balls and stuff. So I don't know. I think there's some stability in the organization. I think ownership goals and what they say their goals aren't always aligned with what fans are in the Super Bowl or bust. I think Terry's very happy with the business of one Bills drive and staying competitive where they're at. Even if this happens to be a down year, I think it would have to, like we've always said, Josh Allen shows up to Terry's office and says, we're done. We got to try something new. Sure, that's going to happen. The wheels really fall off here and they miss the playoffs with a healthy Josh Allen. I don't know. We've said that for years, but like there's a tipping point of the health of this roster. Even if Josh stays healthy and plays, like if you lose Spencer Brown, you lose Bernard, like eventually it's like, okay, there's an asterisk there even at some point. But I think they missed the playoffs this year. I still even think Terry would put the hot seat on, and McDermott would have a full year to make up for it. I don't think he wants to make that move. Maybe he'll shock me, but
you're right. You are.
I don't know.
You're correct. I do not think it's going to happen.
He likes it. I think he likes the team right now.
Arthur here saying this is probably the least frustrating of the 4 losses. The defense only gave up 2 first downs in the second half.
They did clamp down in that second
now
half.
It's 5 a.m. and I'm going to listen to everybody be rational while I sleep. Yeah, I'm complaining about it being midnight.
We said we were going to wrap this up.
Bless you living over there.
Show ever, and look at us. We're
we have no willpower. Caleb coming back here saying, was refreshing to see Josh get mad on the sideline. I want him to say what he thinks the issue is publicly. I don't even know about publicly. I want him to say it in front of people who make decisions. If he's done with Joe Brady, he needs to tell McDermott and Terry Pagula that he's done with Joe Brady and just move on. And like I said, find out what we have in Ronald Curry so you don't waste next season just promoting Ronald Curry if he's not ready for it. Find out now. We're 7-4. That's 11 games. We have to play 6 more no matter what. This is just the way the schedule works. And we're going to, look, again, regardless as depressing as it feels right now, we're going to make the playoffs. Let's go in and find out. Let's find out what's going
on. Maybe. I don't know where Josh is at with it. I don't know what the answer is to that at this point in this season. I think they're all just going to wait and see. I'd like to think they're already having these conversations internally and that they are honest. I don't think that it's taking Josh to get to this moment to like give his honest takes. I'm hoping that they have McDermott talks about this leadership council all these years. I'm hoping that is a place where these conversations happen, where there's a kind of a portal to the coaches for them to express their frustrations there, not here where it's at a tipping point in the season and you're feeling frustrated. I hope they don't seem like the type of organization that runs it that way. So I'm hoping that those conversations are already happening and frustrations are being vented. McDermott seems frustrated. So I think those conversations have been occurring. And that's what I'm interested to see is, the comment that came up earlier, is this with the mini bye week, is that his just tipping point of he's not seeing the results from the offense he wants, similar to Dorsey, even though the statistics at times look good. He's not getting enough out of them when, the defense got a little leaky in that second quarter, but they held up here in the second half and gave you opportunities to win, multiple opportunities to win this game. And you came up short again.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious. I don't expect there to be a lot of shifts or changes from this, but I get the calls for it. I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Derek here saying, who effing cares if we make the playoffs? This team is effed. We can't even count on Allen anymore. Time for change. P.S. I love you guys.
Yes.
We love you too, Derek. We love you too.
I tell you who does care. Terry
Pagula in his
is going to be happy for the more games that the Buffalo Bills play and the more interest there is in the Buffalo Bills.
Jason Brown saying, so frustrating, poor tackling and bad run fits again. That part, they did clamp down the second half. I appreciate that. My soul was already crushed watching what they gave up the first stretch there before it got to that point.
Yeah.
Defensively, the philosophy needs, we need true nose guard. Linebackers are too small and get handled. It's weird that we got ahead of the curve offensively, but didn't really make those adjustments defensively per se. I guess Deion Walker is heading that direction. That's the first time we've gone after a bigger guy.
They've been trying
Hoyt and Ogunjobi are the smaller, more penetrating style. I guess Shaq Thompson is a bigger linebacker
against the run than I thought. Like, I'm pleasantly surprised with his ability to stay healthy this year, although his wrist did not look healthy today when he had one pressure and wasn't even able to grab on to Mills. But I've been disappointed in his run fits.
His inability to keep contained is infuriating.
It's frustrating because I thought he'd be a better run defender. I thought that his size was another sign that they're trying to fix that. I do think, tonight was maybe one of those spots where we often want that young player in, and I'm super excited about a player like Deion Walker. But there was multiple times where it got big boy NFL football for a young player who this is where you start to see rookies that have had really good seasons. Yeah, he hasn't played this many games, right? We're past that college season. He got moved around quite a bit in some of these run plays. But that's going to happen to him. This is nothing against Deion Walker. You're going to hit this point in the season. But it wasn't just him. But that's where having some of those young players that are still developing kind of will bite you at times. I think that, having him as that only true nose tackle who's been playing really well at the nose tackle kind of hurts you today. If he's not having a good game, you got nobody else.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Although Ogunjobi had a nice second half.
He flashed. Yes, correct. His second half, he actually got great penetration and was a big reason we got some of those stuffs. Yeah. The reason we got off the field at several of those was Ogunjobi contributed to several of those.
Yeah.
Jason came back with another one here. Brady can't adjust game plan within the game. Wide receivers aren't world beaters, but virtually any solid offensive line in the league will scheme better. Some of the things of going back to the unimaginative play calls, the telegraphed screens when there's a tell that the defense sees is coming and those guys are triggering on that. I'm almost half surprised somebody hasn't taken one back to the house yet because they see it coming so well that they're there like as Shakir touches the ball.
Yeah. And if it's already pulled to that point, like there should have been that built-in fake leak somewhere on the other side. Like hit that by now. Why haven't you hit that? Where are you saving that one for? I'm sick. I'm very frustrated with the usage of Khalil Shakir. I liked at first the idea of getting him involved in that screen game because he can generate some yards and you were struggling to manufacture him touches for a little while. Just let him be a real receiver a little bit and see what happens. We need some receivers, like get him out there more.
Go him downfield. Let Elijah Moore do any of the fun gadgety stuff. Let Shakir just be a wide receiver.
And I think he can catch it when he's covered. Like I don't think he needs separate. I don't know. Prove me wrong. I want Joe Brady to prove me wrong.
Tim here saying Josh and Brady just don't mesh. McDermott should have been fired after 13 seconds. Bean should have been fired for his poorly constructed roster. I'm sad. That does sound sad. That does sound sad.
I don't know if they're healthy, does it feel poorly constructed? Like if Max Harrison never gets hurt in camp, and like he looks good.
If Hoyt comes in and just has the impact he very clearly looked like he was going to have. Ogunjobi's now a nice rotational piece behind Ed Oliver, who should be playing, there in Deion Walker. Now Daquan Jones. What you want about
Rapp, but obviously that injury hurt his play this year.
Having Rapp, a healthy Rapp, and Cole Bishop's development, having Daquan Jones be able to be a role player behind Deion Walker,
playing pretty well too right now.
That would have been a really nice option to have. The two of that. Yeah, like it's really hard because we didn't get to see what the actual vision of this roster was supposed to be. But it's been there.
Everyone's got to deal with it. I don't want this to sound like injuries, but attrition is just a battle that feels too big this year.
Amari, one of our most dedicated guys in the Discord channel, always keeping the Fire McDermott, campaign alive.
I don't even want to check Twitter.
No, you do not. You do not. Yeah. It's bad. And the last one here from Robert Endres. Rousseau is an average defensive end, and I'm not convinced he's much better than Epinesa. One-handed Bosa got a hell of a lot closer to Bills than Groot. I will say I was really hoping for the mini breakout step forward from Groot, and he's been the same player that he's been. Yeah. Very good, elite moments, run defense, and little splashes of pass rush, and he has not taken any step further forward than what we saw previously. And statistically, it's probably been a step back because there's less pressure and less sacks than what there even was last season.
Yeah, I think I anticipated a big breakout season from him. I still think he's a really good edge
Very
player in
talented.
this league. Super talented, really good run defender. And that's one of the things that's been so frustrating about watching this run defense. And dude, I'm embarrassed how much run defensive plays I watched this weekend and how bad it was to watch. But it was like, I'm watching Greg Rousseau looks really good. Deion Walker looks really good. Like individually, there's a bunch of guys that's like, I felt like Terrell Bernard was really trending in the right direction here going into this week. There was guys that's like, okay, this is starting to click. But there's always one player in a gap that was just getting washed. There's one thing where it's just like, okay, this one guy missed. And I do think that's impacting across the defensive line and the production across that line, because the same thing's happening on pass rush plays and stuff. It's like the pass rush and coverage just never seem to match up, where it's like, okay, the coverage is good and then the pass rush isn't getting home, or you finally get some pass rush and Trey White falls over himself or something, or somebody gets open or there's a rub or pick, and it just doesn't seem to match up for him this year. I still think Root's good. I think that contract's going to be fine for him. I think it was a fair value contract. I think he can still burst in the next couple of years. Sometimes I'm a year early. Sometimes I'm never wrong, just early on these
Just
things.
never wrong, only early.
And so it's disappointing to see this year, but I still believe that was a good contract. I think he's a good part of the future for this team.
Yeah. All right. So thank you to our sponsors at Southern Tier Brewing Company.
Yeah.
There's a lot brewing. We'll see where it goes. Let's wrap things up here. Bring in fantastic producer Colin Ritchie. It is.
Please don't tell us more people were hurt than we in this last 50 minutes.
Were there any other additional
did anyone
injuries
slip getting
that were
onto the
reported
plane
here?
or any mats? The Kevin Cobb mat incident. Did we get any of those tonight?
Not that I've seen, just reports that Spencer Brown had a sling on his arm in the locker room.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. He couldn't even lift that arm before they took him out. So, yeah.
Okay, right. So I know.
So there were a lot of submissions. There was a lot for you to choose from tonight of unhinged sadness and frustration. Who did you feel were the winners of said submissions?
We're all winners.
We're all winners here tonight.
Yeah, so I picked out my top 3, and quickly I just want to give a shout out to the 4,100 live viewers we have sticking with us on a terrible post-game show loss like the one we just suffered. So thank you guys, and thank you for all of your submissions. Like Greg said, there are a lot to choose from. We'll start with Hawk Tua Raygun saying the Bills should jump on the train and resurrect Anthony Richardson like the Colts did to Indiana Jones, trade for a Stephon Diggs.
That is really strong. That is very strong. I respect that kind of the strength it took to even type that.
Yeah, that's actually like me running a fantasy team. That's me. That's if I was the GM, that'd be how we'd operate.
Yeah, that's like me doing a rebuild in Madden. Like I'm gonna make Anthony Richardson into a superstar X Factor.
We're gonna fix this thing.
So that one was probably the most outlandish. These next two are maybe a little more grounded in reality, which makes them a bit scarier, possibly. We have Krungus saying keeping Joe Brady over Diggs was a huge mistake, unforgivable.
I think Diggs was right about some stuff. As annoying as Diggs is, I think he was right about some stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if that is like an unhinged hot take. Like, I think that's just factual sentence.
Yeah. I also though I do think I think there was some truth to the Diggs problem. In hindsight, it seems to have become more of a Joe Brady problem, but I think there was a Allen problem.
Yeah, I think the Allen Diggs thing was real, and that I don't think Josh wanted him to stay, and maybe that's a shame, and that he should have needed to get over that. And then also, clearly Brady didn't use Diggs the way that he had been featured and used previously. So I don't know that I saw it as a Diggs or Brady option. But yes, right, the combination of how it worked out, that if we could have had new OC and kept Stephon Diggs, sure, I think that would have been great.
It almost makes me want to put some tinfoil on my head, and that I think maybe the Bills got to stop coddling Allen so much and giving him all the things. And maybe
He's
Bean
certainly
and
not
Allen
allowed-
shouldn't be like best buddies.
He's certainly not allowed to give any input on draft picks anymore.
Yeah.
All right,
All right,
last
and
one, Colin.
Last one. So obviously lots of calls in the chat to fire Joe Brady. I think there was one of those maybe every 10 seconds from a different user coming in and commenting that. So if we fired Joe Brady, that would be firing Ken Dorsey, firing Joe Brady, and this would now be the fourth offensive coordinator for Josh Allen after two of them have gotten fired.
Yeah.
And MDL 0838 says McDermott can't afford to fire another offensive coordinator. Is that a bad look as a head coach if you can't find the right offensive coordinator?
Greg, I'll say, I think when you were in a really dark spot the other night, 2 weeks ago, and you were ready to move on, and I said, I don't think that we can let him hire another one. At least, like if he fires him, I think that is probably a nail for me. Of like, I say it all the time. Do we trust Terry Pegula to hire a GM and a head coach? I don't know if I trust Sean McDermott to get it right again. He got it right with Brian Dable. Yep. That ran its course. I think he's gotten it okay with some other guys. People will say, yeah, like Brady's been.
It's Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think Brady's been good most of his time here. But yeah, I don't know if we trust him to pick another one.
I think it would be the last chance kind of shot that you paint yourself into a corner of, okay, this better be the reason we go to the Super Bowl. Like that if you make this move, it needs to be the spark that sends us to the Super Bowl. And if we go to the Super Bowl, win or loss, if you go to the Super Bowl, everybody gets to stay. If we go to the Super Bowl, sure, you could stay, and so does your new OC, and everything will work out. But if you make that call and it's anything short of going to the Super Bowl, everybody's got to go. But like Aaron said, that's not going to happen. So
I don't think it will.
Yeah, no.
Dable's not coming back. I see a lot of calls for Dable too.
Yeah.
Like,
well, Dable's for sure not coming back if McDermott's here.
I think
I did bring up the idea, like if my Galaxy brain one is just steal Steve Spagnuolo from the Chiefs, hire Howie Roseman's assistant GM, bring in Dable as the OC, and everybody wins.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes. I do think there's going to be some very hard,
some real uncomfortable discussions. Yeah. Real uncomfortable.
Yeah, on the plane.
Yes, uncomfortable plane ride home. Right now, they are having uncomfortable discussions.
Yes.
In the immediate future, if not.
I also feel bad for the training staff because I don't know how much ice you can fit on a plane with all that other equipment, but I don't think they got enough.
Yeah, Cam Murray's saying Pegula would hire Chip Kelly and Dave Gettleman. That's the concern. Is and Sabres fan, if you're not sure, if you're confident that this hiring decision is going to go great, if he fires everybody, go talk to a Sabres fan. I'm not one.
I keep joking. We're going to end up with Jason Garrett.
Yeah,
like head coach Jason Garrett.
Like that is the kind of hire that he has made in the NHL. So yes.
Yeah, correct. Someone was saying in the comments, like for everyone that wants the Bills to clean house, like Terry Pegula has the Sabres in year 6 of Kevin Adams, which is like a third of the Sabres playoff drought is those 6 years with Kevin Adams,
who has had like not even 1% of the success that McDermott and Bean
not even fielding like highly competitive team.
Right, like the Bills are trying to
every year.
Right, the Bills are trying to make the Super Bowl. The Sabres are just trying to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. And he hasn't fired that guy.
And the NFL is the most profitable of all those. Sports. Oh, yeah. So like to have a good team in the NFL is
he might sell the Sabres before he fires McDermott or Bean.
Honestly, there's a bunch of Sabres fans that like if you had to make that choice,
is the best news a handful of Bills/Sabres fans got all night. Wait, hold on. We're gonna do one more here because Captain Base Pants, which is a great name. It's a really, really, really great name. Explain Kevin Adams in NFL terms.
So I think it starts with the Jets, who are on like year 14 or 15 of a playoff drought.
So great call. Who is the GM they just fired? The big guy.
Douglas.
Yes.
Joe Douglas.
Yes. Joe Douglas. the reason Joe Douglas and Kevin Adams are so similar is they both were very good at drafting players who were seen to be incredibly talented and fairly lauded for their draft picks, and then never able to actually turn it into anything productive on the field. So that's a great call.
And
I
now
think
they're all going to go be good other places.
Sabres,
I was thinking of Mickey
Jets,
Loomis,
yes.
but
yeah, just like all the Sabres players that have gone on to win Stanley Cups and all the things with other teams, tons of Jets players have gone on to be successful and good in other places. That's a great comp. That's a great call.
And if you take the Joe Douglas tenure and then add in that 1 year the Jets had Ryan Fitzpatrick where they just missed the playoffs, because the Sabres had that a couple years ago where they missed the playoffs by 1 point. So take that Ryan Fitzpatrick, like 2015 or whatever year that was, and put that kind of in the middle of Joe Douglas's tenure, where the 1 year they almost made it, and you're like, oh, okay, they're finally on the uptick. And then they missed the playoffs by like 10 points the next year in hockey, or by like 3 or 4 games in football terms.
Wild.
So that's it, Sabres fans. You can either
There you go.
fire McDermott or Terry can sell the Sabres.
Yeah. Last one here, Jason saying, hey, Allen got tired of the relationship. Again, a stronger OC would have made this work. Rookie OCs can't handle the
I don't
BS.
think Daboll would have dealt with that
Correct.
nonsense. We would have had to sit down.
Yeah.
And like, we're getting over that.
It might have been uncomfortable and a lot of screaming and red-faced stuff, but he would have dealt with it. It would not have been allowed to just simmer like that.
Anyway,
all right, I'm
pretty good.
embarrassed that we talked for an hour about this game. I am horrified that we talked for an hour about this game. But thank you to all the incredible people who have stuck with us while we did this. God bless you. Thank you to our wonderful sponsors, the folks over at West Herr and Southern Tier Brewing Company. Thank you to fantastic producer Colin Ritchie. Thank you to my lovely co-host Aaron Quinn. I am Greg Tompsett. You have been listening to Cover One Buffalo, and we are thankfully out.